The wind howled across the frozen expanse, carrying with it a biting chill that cut through layers of insulated fabric and flesh. Alex Thorn tightened the hood of his parka around his face, leaving only a narrow slit for his eyes. He had been trekking across the Arctic tundra for weeks, driven by a purpose he could barely articulate to himself. Some might call it madness, others an unyielding pursuit of solitude and discovery. Alex wasn't just any explorer. He was a man who thrived in places where others dared not tread, where the world's raw edges met the vast unknown. Yet, even for him, this particular expedition felt different, heavier, as if the landscape itself was holding its breath, waiting for something. On the morning of the third week, as the sun barely peeked over the horizon, casting a pale orange hue on the endless white, Alex spotted an irregularity in the snow, a slight dip, barely noticeable. He paused, kneeling down to inspect it, brushing away the snow with gloved hands. Beneath the surface, something gleamed faintly, a flicker of light that should not have been there. Heart pounding with the thrill of potential discovery, he dug deeper, revealing a smooth, crystalline surface. As he chipped away at the surrounding ice, a shape began to form, a shape that was undeniably human-like, yet different in ways that made his breath hitch. Encased in the ice was a woman, her features delicate yet otherworldly, with skin that shimmered like pearl under the faint sunlight. Her eyes were closed, and she seemed to be in a state of suspended animation, as if frozen mid-thought, mid-breath. Alex's mind raced. Was this some lost explorer from an ancient time, preserved by the cold? But no, her attire, her very presence, suggested something far beyond the bounds of earthly explanation. He worked tirelessly, his hands numb and trembling, until he managed to free her from her icy prison. Gently, he lifted her, feeling the unnatural warmth that pulsed faintly from her body despite the surrounding cold. He knew he had to act quickly. Whatever she was, wherever she came from, she needed help. He carried her to his tent, the heat from the small generator working overtime to stave off the frostbite creeping into his bones. As the woman lay on his makeshift cot, the ice melting away from her form, Alex couldn't help but marvel at her. She was both beautiful and strange, a living paradox of familiarity and alien mystery. Hours passed, and as the frost melted away completely, she stirred. Her eyelids fluttered, revealing eyes that glowed faintly, a deep, mesmerizing shade that seemed to shift like liquid starlight. When she looked at him, Alex felt as if he were gazing into the depths of the cosmos. Where am I?" she whispered, her voice melodic, yet trembling with the weight of an unfamiliar language. Alex blinked, struggling to find words. "You're safe," he said, the simplicity of his answer masking the chaos swirling in his mind. She sat up slowly, her movements graceful but tentative, as if reacquainting herself with gravity and form. Her gaze swept the confines of the tent before settling back on him. "I am lost," she murmured, a trace of sadness in her tone. "But you found me." He nodded, not knowing what else to say. In that moment, the isolation of the Arctic felt less daunting, less oppressive. They were two beings, lost in their own ways, drawn together by fate or some cosmic coincidence. The days that followed were a blur of slow discovery. Alex pieced together a basic understanding with a woman. Her name, or at least what he could understand of it, was Elara. She was not from this world, that much was clear. Her fragmented memories spoke of a journey, of seeking refuge from a catastrophe that spanned light years. As they worked to communicate, Alex found himself captivated by her knowledge and her resilience. Elara, in turn, seemed equally fascinated by his resourcefulness and the stark beauty of this frozen world she had awakened to. Their fragile peace was shattered one evening when the low hum of approaching helicopters pierced the silence. Alex's instincts kicked in. They were being hunted, not just by the elements, but by those who had somehow learned of Elara's presence. "We have to move," he said, urgency threading his voice. Elara's eyes widened, understanding the danger without the need for words. Together, they gathered their scant belongings and ventured out into the unforgiving wilderness, the snow closing in around them like a shroud. The chase was on, a desperate race against time and nature, as Alex and Elara sought sanctuary in a world that was neither hers nor his. The night swallowed them whole, the swirling snow reducing visibility to mere feet. Alex led the way, his mind honed on survival, every step a calculated risk. Elara followed closely, her ethereal presence like a ghostly beacon amidst the storm. They pressed onward, their breath forming clouds in the icy air. Alex's thoughts were a tangled mess. Who were these people chasing them? Military? Private contractors? Whoever they were, their intent was clear. They wanted Elara, and not for benevolent reasons. As dawn broke, the storm began to relent, revealing a rugged expanse of jagged ice and snow-dusted cliffs. Alex scanned the horizon, spotting a cluster of ice caves that could offer temporary refuge. He pointed ahead. "There," he shouted over the wind. "We can take shelter." Elara nodded, her expression determined despite the exhaustion etched on her face. Together, they trudged toward the caves, their pursuers momentarily lost in the blizzard's wake. The entrance to the largest cave was narrow, almost hidden, but it widened inside, forming a natural cavern. The walls glistened with frost, and the air was eerily still. Alex set up a small heater, the flickering flame casting long shadows. "We should be safe here for now," he said, his voice hushed in the cavernous space. Elara sank to the ground, her strength visibly waning. Alex knelt beside her, concern evident in his eyes. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded faintly, her gaze distant. "I am not accustomed to this world. The cold, the air. It is different." Alex reached into his pack, pulling out a thermos of hot tea. He poured some into a cup, offering it to her. "Drink this. It'll help." Elara accepted the cup, her hands trembling slightly. She took a sip, her eyes closing briefly as the warmth spread through her. For a moment, silence enveloped them, the only sound the faint crackle of the heater. Alex watched her, the questions he had held back now pressing at the edges of his mind. "Elara," he began hesitantly, "why were you here? What happened to bring you to our world?" She opened her eyes, the glow in them softening. "It is a long story," she said, her voice a whisper. "My world, my people, we were explorers, much like you. We sought knowledge, understanding. But something went wrong. A great calamity forced us to flee, to scatter across the stars in search of refuge." Her gaze dropped to the ground. "I was separated from my people. My ship, it malfunctioned. I crashed here, alone. I do not know how long I have been in the ice." Alex absorbed her words, the weight of her story settling heavily on him. An explorer, lost and alone, seeking safety in a world that would not understand her. He felt a deep empathy, their circumstances mirroring each other in unexpected ways. "You're not alone anymore," he said softly. "We'll figure this out together." A faint smile touched her lips, gratitude shining in her eyes. "Thank you, Alex." The moment was interrupted by the distant echo of rotors slicing through the air. Their pursuers had found them again. Alex's heart sank. "They're coming," he muttered, rising to his feet. "We need to move." Elara stood, a newfound resolve in her posture. "They will not stop until they have me. Then we'll make sure they can't catch us," Alex said firmly. They packed up quickly, exiting the cave and making their way deeper into the icy wilderness. The landscape became more treacherous, the ground uneven and the ice slick beneath their boots. But they pressed on, driven by the need to stay ahead of their relentless hunters. As they reached a narrow pass, Alex paused, scanning the horizon. He spotted a ridge in the distance, a natural choke point that could give them an advantage. "If we can get to that ridge, we might be able to lose them," he said, pointing. Elara nodded, her expression unreadable. "Lead the way." They navigated the treacherous terrain, the wind biting at their exposed skin. The sound of the helicopters grew louder, the chase closing in on them. Alex's mind raced, searching for a plan, a way to outsmart their pursuers. Suddenly, Elara stopped, her eyes narrowing as she stared at the sky. "There is another way," she said, her voice laced with a strange certainty. Before Alex could question her, she extended her hand toward the sky. The air around them seemed to hum with energy, a subtle vibration that resonated through the ice and snow. "What are you doing?" Alex asked, his voice tense. Elara's gaze remained fixed on the sky. "I am calling for help." The hum grew louder, the air shimmering faintly. Alex felt a tingling sensation coursing through him, a mixture of awe and unease. He looked up, searching the sky for any sign of what she was doing. Moments later, a brilliant light appeared on the horizon, cutting through the storm like a beacon. It moved with purpose, descending rapidly toward them. Alex shielded his eyes as the light grew brighter, illuminating the landscape in a surreal glow. The helicopters veered away, their engines straining against the sudden interference. The light hovered above Alex and Elara, a presence both comforting and otherworldly. Elara lowered her hand, a faint smile playing on her lips. "They have come." Alex stared in amazement as the light solidified, revealing a sleek, metallic craft unlike anything he had ever seen. It hovered silently, its surface reflecting the icy landscape below. The craft descended slowly, a hatch opening to reveal a soft, inviting glow. Elara turned to Alex, her expression filled with a mixture of relief and gratitude. "This is my chance," she said softly, "to return to my people." Alex felt a pang of bittersweet emotion. He had found her, saved her, and now she was leaving. But he knew it was the right thing, the only thing. "Go," he said, his voice steady. "You deserve to be with your people." Elara reached out, her hand resting lightly on his. "Thank you, Alex, for everything." With a final, lingering look, she stepped into the light, her form silhouetted against the brilliance. The hatch closed behind her, and the craft descended gracefully into the sky, disappearing into the horizon. Alex stood alone in the snow, the silence of the Arctic returning once more. The warmth of her touch lingered, a reminder of the extraordinary journey they had shared. He turned, the vast wilderness stretching out before him, and began his trek back. The world felt different now, the weight of what he had experienced settling into his bones. Somewhere, out there, Elara was safe. And that was enough. As Alex made his way back through the desolate Arctic, a profound silence enveloped him, broken only by the crunch of snow beneath his boots and the distant howl of the wind. The vast expanse stretched endlessly in every direction, a blank canvas upon which his thoughts painted memories of Elara and the extraordinary encounter that had just transpired. He felt a strange mixture of loss and fulfillment, as if he had become a part of something much larger than himself. The frozen wilderness, which had once felt like an unrelenting adversary, now seemed to cradle him gently, a stark reminder of the interconnectedness between the cosmos and the Earth. Days passed as Alex navigated back toward the nearest outpost. The journey was arduous, and exhaustion gnawed at the edges of his endurance. But the thought of Elara's survival, her return to her people, propelled him forward. He had witnessed something incredible, something no one would believe, yet it had changed him irrevocably. Finally, the faint outline of the outpost appeared on the horizon, its structures huddled together against the elements like weary sentinels. Alex's pace quickened, fueled by the promise of warmth and rest. As he approached, the outpost's lights blinked invitingly through the early evening gloom. Inside, the familiar hum of machinery and the scent of human habitation enveloped him. He was met with curious glances and a few murmurs, but he offered no explanation for his absence. Not yet. He needed time to process everything before sharing even a fragment of his story. He settled into his modest quarters, shedding his layers and basking in the artificial warmth. Sitting on the edge of his cot, he let out a long, slow breath, the weight of his journey settling upon him fully. His mind wandered back to the moment he had first found Elara, buried beneath the ice, and the chain of events that had followed. A knock at his door jolted him from his reverie. He opened it to find Dr. Evelyn Carter, the outpost's resident scientist and a colleague who had long admired Alex's tenacity and skill as an explorer. "Alex," she greeted, her brow furrowed with concern. "You've been gone longer than expected. We were worried." He offered a tired smile. "I'm back now. Sorry for the concern." She stepped inside, her sharp eyes scanning him for signs of injury or illness. "Are you all right? You look different." Alex hesitated, the urge to unburden himself battling with the knowledge that his tale would sound fantastical, even to someone as open-minded as Evelyn. Finally, he nodded. "I'm fine," he said, though his voice carried the weight of something more. I saw something out there. Something I can't quite explain." Evelyn's curiosity was piqued, but she didn't press him. "When you're ready to talk about it, I'm here to listen. Alex appreciated her restraint, her patience. Thanks, Evelyn. I'll need some time to sort it all out. She gave him a small nod, then left him to his thoughts, closing the door softly behind her. Alex leaned back against the wall, staring at the ceiling. The image of Elara's glowing eyes and the way she had reached out to him remained vivid in his mind. He knew he couldn't keep this to himself forever. There were questions to be asked, answers to be sought. The world deserved to know about the existence of beings like Elara, but how to reveal such a truth without causing panic or disbelief? As the days turned into weeks, Alex found himself drawn to the Outpost's communication center, a place where he could tap into the vast network of scientific minds and explorers spread across the globe. He began to draft a report, carefully choosing his words to relay the events without triggering alarm. He detailed the discovery, the rescue, and the mysterious craft that had taken Elara away. He described her appearance, their brief but meaningful exchanges, and the inexplicable connection he had felt. His report was methodical yet imbued with the wonder and gravity of what he had experienced. When he finally sent it out to a select group of trusted colleagues and authorities, he knew that his life would never be the same. He had opened a door to a reality that many had only dreamed of, a reality where humanity was not alone in the universe. The responses came swiftly, a mix of skepticism, intrigue, and cautious excitement. Some dismissed his account as delusion brought on by isolation, while others demanded more evidence. A few, however, expressed a profound interest, urging him to share everything he knew, to continue his search for answers. Alex felt the stirrings of a new purpose, one that intertwined with his passion for exploration but reached far beyond the Earth's boundaries. He realized that his encounter with Elara was not an end but a beginning, a gateway to understanding the cosmos and humanity's place within it. Determined, he began preparing for another journey, this time armed with more knowledge, more resources, and a network of allies who believed in the possibilities he had glimpsed. The Arctic had given him a glimpse of the extraordinary, and now he would dedicate himself to uncovering the mysteries that lay beyond the stars. With Elara's memory as his guiding star, Alex knew that the future held infinite possibilities, and he was ready to explore them all. The Arctic winds whispered secrets as Alex once again prepared himself for an expedition, this time with a greater sense of purpose and a network of trusted allies who had come to share in his vision. The world had shifted subtly after his report, the scientific community buzzing with speculation and cautious optimism. Though not everyone believed his account, the few who did were eager to explore the possibilities. Among them was Dr. Evelyn Carter, who had become his most steadfast supporter. Her expertise in astrophysics and her open-minded approach made her an invaluable partner in this new quest. Together, they assembled a team of researchers, engineers, and survival experts, all driven by the same unquenchable thirst for knowledge. Their goal was clear: return to the site where Alex had found Elara and search for any residual evidence of her presence, or perhaps any signs that might lead them to further encounters. The team was equipped with advanced technology, ground-penetrating radar, thermal imaging, and sensors designed to detect anomalies that could indicate extraterrestrial activity. The journey back to the Arctic was arduous, but the collective enthusiasm of the team buoyed Alex's spirits. They established a base camp near the original site, a more sophisticated setup than Alex's previous solitary endeavor. Heated tents, communication relays, and portable laboratories transformed the frozen landscape into a hub of scientific exploration. Evelyn stood next to Alex one crisp morning, gazing out over the vast expanse of ice. "Do you really think we'll find something here again?" she asked, her breath forming clouds in the frigid air. Alex nodded, his eyes scanning the horizon. "I have to believe we will. Elara wasn't just a one-time anomaly. There's more out here, more we don't understand yet." Evelyn smiled faintly, her admiration for Alex's determination evident. "Then let's find it." The team worked tirelessly, combing the area where Alex had first discovered Elara. They used the radar to probe deep beneath the ice, searching for any irregularities. Days turned into weeks, the icy wilderness testing their resolve. The harsh environment took its toll, but their curiosity and dedication drove them forward. One afternoon, the radar picked up an unusual signal, something metallic and large buried deep beneath the ice, far below where Elara had been found. The team gathered around the monitor, excitement crackling in the air. Evelyn pointed to the screen. "It's not natural. Whatever it is, It's been down there for a long time. Alex's heart raced. Could it be another part of Elara's ship? Or something else entirely? They decided to excavate carefully, using thermal drills to melt the ice without damaging whatever lay beneath. The process was painstaking, but the anticipation made every moment electric. Finally, after hours of delicate work, a structure began to emerge. Sleek and alien, its surface shimmering with an iridescent sheen. The team stood in awe as they uncovered more of the object, revealing what appeared to be a craft, similar in design to the one that had taken Elara but larger and more complex. Alex approached the vessel cautiously, his hand reaching out to touch the smooth surface. It pulsed faintly under his fingertips, a subtle vibration that resonated through him. "It's alive," he whispered, a mixture of wonder and reverence in his voice. Evelyn stepped forward, her eyes wide. "This changes everything." The craft, now fully exposed, emitted a low hum, as if responding to their presence. A panel on its side began to glow, lines of alien script appearing, shifting and changing as though attempting to communicate. Alex and Evelyn exchanged a glance. "We need to understand this," Evelyn said, her mind already racing with possibilities. The team set up equipment to analyze the craft, recording the symbols and feeding the data into their computers. The script was unlike anything on Earth, but there were patterns, similarities to the fragmented language Elara had used. It was as though the craft itself was aware, attempting to bridge the gap between them. As night fell, the hum of the craft grew louder, and the temperature around it seemed to rise. The team gathered, watching as the symbols shifted into recognizable patterns, star maps, coordinates, and sequences that pointed to something beyond their immediate comprehension. Evelyn's voice trembled with excitement. "It's showing us a path, a way to follow." Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. Elara left us a trail. She wanted us to find this, to understand. The realization hit them all at once. This was not just a discovery. It was an invitation, a call to explore the vast unknown. The craft, with its mysterious signals and encoded messages, was a key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. Their journey had only just begun, and the horizon stretched out infinitely before them. With renewed determination, Alex and his team prepared for the next step, knowing that the answers they sought lay far beyond the frozen reaches of the Arctic, in the stars where Elara had once traveled. And they would follow her, wherever the path might lead. The team worked through the night, their excitement palpable as they delved deeper into the mysteries of the alien craft. The encoded messages, though complex, seemed designed to be deciphered by those willing to put in the effort. It was as if the creators of the vessel had anticipated this moment, leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for the curious and brave. Evelyn, hunched over a terminal, ran simulations and cross-referenced the alien symbols with known astronomical data. Alex stood beside her, his gaze alternating between the glowing screen and the enigmatic craft outside. "I've got something," Evelyn said, her voice steady but laced with excitement. She gestured to a sequence of coordinates that had emerged from the data. "These are star positions, and they correspond to a system several light-years from here. It's as if the craft is giving us directions." Alex leaned in, his mind racing. "A map to another world?" "Potentially," Evelyn replied, her eyes gleaming. "It could be a home world, a way station, or even just another piece of their story. But it's clear this craft is meant to guide us somewhere." The team gathered around, each person contributing their expertise to the unfolding puzzle. Some worked on understanding the propulsion systems that could have brought the craft to Earth, while others focused on the biological and environmental data embedded in the craft's memory banks. As dawn broke, the Arctic sky was painted with hues of pink and gold, casting a surreal light over the camp. The hum of the craft had stabilized, now a constant background to their work. It felt alive, a silent guardian of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Alex stepped outside, needing a moment to process the enormity of what they were on the brink of discovering. The icy wind brushed against his face, grounding him in the reality of the frozen world around him. He had come here seeking isolation, a reprieve from the noise of civilization, and instead, he had stumbled upon a connection to something far greater. Evelyn joined him, her breath visible in the cold air. "How are you holding up?" she asked, her tone gentle. "I'm trying to wrap my head around it all," Alex admitted. "A few weeks ago, I was just another explorer looking for something new, something different. And now you're at the forefront of possibly the most significant discovery in human history, Evelyn finished, a soft smile on her lips. It's a lot to take in. Alex nodded, his eyes fixed on the horizon. Do you think we're ready for this? To follow where this craft is leading us? Evelyn's expression turned thoughtful. Ready or not, we have to try. This is bigger than any of us. It's a chance to understand our place in the universe, to connect with other intelligent beings. We can't turn away from that. Her words resonated with Alex, reaffirming the resolve that had brought him here in the first place. He turned back toward the camp, where the others continued their work, driven by the same sense of wonder and determination. By midday, the team had made significant progress. They had decoded more of the symbols, which now revealed not just coordinates but also a set of instructions, potentially a way to activate the craft or at least communicate further with it. Evelyn, along with a few engineers, carefully followed the instructions, their fingers gliding over the craft's smooth surface as they activated panels and interfaces. The craft responded, lights pulsing rhythmically, and the hum shifted to a deeper, more resonant tone. Suddenly, a beam of light shot up from the craft, piercing the sky. The team stepped back, watching in awe as the beam expanded, forming a translucent dome around the camp. Within the dome, the temperature rose slightly, and the air seemed to shimmer with a faint, otherworldly energy. It's creating an environment, one of the scientists observed. Adapting to us, or perhaps making it easier for something to reach out to us. Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. This isn't just a message. It's a signal, a beacon. Evelyn's eyes widened as she realized the implication. If that's true, then something, or someone, might be on their way. The weight of her words settled over the group. They were no longer alone in their endeavor. The signal they had activated was reaching out across the cosmos, and it was only a matter of time before a response arrived. Alex's heart pounded in his chest, a mix of fear and exhilaration coursing through him. They had taken the first step into the unknown, and now the unknown was about to answer. "We need to be ready," he said, his voice firm. "Whatever comes next, we need to be prepared." The team nodded, the gravity of their situation sinking in. They had unlocked a door to the stars, and now, standing at the threshold, they awaited what lay beyond. As the Arctic winds howled outside the protective dome, the team worked tirelessly, knowing that the future of their discovery, and perhaps humanity itself, was about to change forever. The next few days passed in a haze of frenetic activity, anticipation thick in the air. The team fortified their camp, preparing for any eventuality. Supplies were checked and rechecked, and every piece of equipment was calibrated to capture and analyze whatever might come through the activated beacon. Alex found himself oscillating between excitement and apprehension. The craft's signal pulsed steadily, a silent countdown to an unknown encounter. He spent hours poring over the data with Evelyn, hoping to glean any clues about what, or who, might respond. As night fell on the third day, the Arctic sky was clearer than it had been in weeks, stars twinkling like distant fires. The team gathered near the craft, the dome of light still shimmering around them. The cold seemed to recede within the dome, replaced by a strange warmth that none could fully explain. Suddenly, the beacon's hum intensified, its rhythm shifting into a complex, melodic sequence. The ground beneath their feet vibrated subtly, and the air crackled with unseen energy. Evelyn's voice broke the silence, barely above a whisper. "It's happening." All eyes turned skyward. A brilliant light appeared on the horizon, growing rapidly as it approached. It was unlike anything they had seen before. A vessel, sleek and elongated, its surface reflecting the stars like a liquid mirror. The craft hovered silently above the camp, descending slowly within the dome. The team held their breath as the vessel settled on the snow, its form sleek and imposing yet strangely graceful. A section of its hull shimmered and dissolved, creating an opening from which a figure emerged, silhouetted against the luminous interior. Alex's heart skipped a beat as he recognized the figure's fluid movements and glowing eyes. "Elara," he whispered, disbelief and joy mingling in his voice. Elara stepped forward, her gaze meeting Alex's with a warmth that transcended words. She was followed by others, each sharing her ethereal beauty and the same aura of wisdom and serenity. They moved with purpose, exuding a calm that seemed to envelop the entire team. Elara approached Alex, her voice soft but resonant. You answered the call. You found what was left behind. And now we have come to fulfill the promise made long ago. Alex struggled to find his voice, his emotions a torrent of relief, wonder, and awe. We didn't know if anyone would come. But we had to try. Elara's smile deepened. You did more than try. You opened the way. And now, we will share what we know. Evelyn stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding any hesitation. What is this place? Why did you leave this craft here? Elara turned to her, eyes shimmering. It was a beacon, a message in the silence of space. We knew one day it would be found by those ready to seek beyond their world. It was left as a test, a way to find those who are ready for the knowledge we hold. The others from Elara's craft began to interact with the team, exchanging information and answering questions with patience and clarity. The conversation flowed effortlessly, a melding of human curiosity and alien wisdom. As the night deepened, Elara led Alex and Evelyn into the newly arrived vessel, its interior a wonder of organic technology, alive and responsive to touch. She showed them the star maps, the histories of her people, and the journeys that had spanned millennia. You are not alone, Elara said, her tone filled with quiet certainty. Your world is one of many, connected by the threads of existence that bind us all. What you have done here proves that your kind is ready to step beyond the boundaries of your own planet. Alex felt a profound sense of fulfillment, the weight of his journey lifting as he realized the enormity of what lay ahead. We've only just begun, he murmured, his eyes fixed on the swirling galaxies displayed before them. Elara nodded. Yes, and there is so much more to discover. We will help you, guide you, as you take your first steps into a larger universe. As dawn approached, the team stood together with their newfound allies, gazing out at the frozen expanse that had become the gateway to an interstellar connection. The possibilities were endless, the path forward illuminated by the bonds they had forged. The sky, once a distant and unattainable frontier, now seemed closer, more tangible, a reminder that humanity's reach could extend far beyond its earthly confines. Together, they would journey into the unknown, not as isolated beings but as part of a greater cosmic family, united in their shared quest for knowledge and understanding. The universe awaited, and they were ready to embrace it.